She said it was okay for me to take this. Yeah, no, that. Hi, my name is Doug Powell, and I have been a member here at Foothills since the fall of 2010. My wife and I had moved to Fort Collins from Los Angeles, and given that we knew 2 people when we moved here, as you can imagine, we were looking for community. We had an eclectic spiritual perspective from paganism to Episcopalian Christianity, to my own homespun romantic atheism, and a smattering of influences including shamanism, Taoism, and others. Not surprisingly, we were thrilled to find a community and a spiritual home here at Foothills. We have both been active volunteers at Foothills for quite a while, and I could talk a lot about the incredible times that I've had, the friends that I've made, bonding with others through shared purpose, commitment, work, and music. I want to talk today about some of the ways in which I have grown personally through serving here at Foothills. The first shift for me happened when I was volunteering with what we called the worship learning community. That group put on contemplative evening worship services, among other things. On one of these evening Vesper services, our theme was something like surrender. We were singing and chanting. We had a big circle, and mid-chant, I turned, hold on a second, where would I leave off? Yeah, we were singing and chanting. Mid-chant, I looked over and saw several people openly weeping. And that's when I got it. Surrender was happening. People were really moving through some stuff. I started to really see that what we're doing together here deeply made a difference for people. That realization changed me. The easiest way I could describe this shift for me is that in that moment, I moved from being a person that attends at Foothills to being a person that is Foothills. It's kind of like being the difference. It's kind of like the difference between being a babysitter and being a parent. In the blink of an eye, I became invested, committed. The cake was baked. I'm home. This is my church, and I am one of the parts of the truth that constitute Foothills. So my wife leaned into church lay leadership first. If you know her, you aren't surprised about that. In time, I was invited to consider being on the board of trustees. And I had my doubts about being on the board. I wasn't sure I could handle the time commitment. I already had a lot of things going on in my life. My wife looked me in the eyes and said, "Trust me." And I said yes, and passed into one of the profound transformations of my life. 2 years of being on the board my 2 years of being on the board were very different experiences. My first year was all about getting up to speed, learning how the church is run, the role of the board versus the role of the ministry. Words like policies and bylaws started to have real meaning to me. And most importantly, I began getting to know, trust, and deeply care for the incredible humans that we have as board members. My second year on the board was a lot quieter emotionally for me, as I had settled into an understanding of the job. Love had replaced concern. Commitment replaced overwhelm. I really got to experience firsthand what living out our values means for real. At one point, we faced a circumstance that required the board to set clear boundaries with someone in a very challenging situation. I had to deal with how in my own life, I hadn't been very good at setting boundaries. Yet here was this issue, and setting solid, healthy boundaries was what was called for. It became really clear to me that who I was called to be as a board member was a person greater and more expansive than who I was by default. I answered to something bigger. Being on the board asks of each of us that we strive to embody our Unitarian values in a way that is incredibly empowering, powerful, and connecting and grounding. Since then, my wife has joined the Foothills staff, and I've resigned my board position early to avoid creating the potential of a conflict of interest with her new role. I am so thankful. I have been forever altered by my time on the board here at Foothills. I have grown as a person in ways that I couldn't have imagined, made profound relationships with people that I might not otherwise have. And I am so deeply humbled and honored to have been granted the opportunity to serve this congregation in this way. Now I'm following passions of mine into my post-board service here at Foothills. I've been an audio geek for years, and so now I'm on the tech team, or what I like to call the AV club. We're the team of nerds that are behind the scenes, making sure that every Sunday service, live stream, Zoom service goes off without a hitch. I like to think of it as taking care of people with technology. I'm also looking at joining the choir. I realized a while ago that I'm a yes to this place. I'm a yes to our great covenant. Inside of being a yes, I have found that there are many ways to serve. From playing the didgeridoo to running mics, on and on. And many diverse opportunities to make a difference, connect with people, grow as a person, and to help one another. How we say that we each bring a piece of the truth. Serving is like that. We all have gifts to contribute. You are needed. The unique difference you can make is needed. If you're willing, I invite you to consider what doors deepening your yes might open, what difference you can make. Most important of all, get into communication about serving. Talk to our staff, to our ministers, or just go to our website and indicate that you're looking for a way to serve. The only qualification you need is a yes.